All right, so I'm here with my new best buddy, Shay. Okay, so Shay, tell me your name and your company and where you live in Colorado Springs. What's your community?
Okay, my name is Shay Dominguez, and I am with the Cutting Edge Realtors in Colorado Springs. Um, I've been there about 8 years, and they're an independent brokerage in Colorado Springs, not affiliated with any of the nationwide brokerages.
Gotcha.
I live in northern Colorado Springs. I live in a community called Cottonwood Creek Estates, and we're a very small community where I actually live.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm very close to Cottonwood Creek Park and the actual creek, Cottonwood Creek.
Excellent.
So yes, yes, I love the community that I live in, and I have lived in other communities, but this is the community we've been in for 12 years.
Absolutely. And
So
you said that you're a Colorado Springs native. So where did you grow up?
yes, I grew up in central Colorado Springs. People that might listen to this, I grew up close to Doherty High School,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very much in the center of town now. At one time, it was further north, but now we have a new north, right? We grew so much north that is now central. And interestingly, my starting my freshman year in high school, my parents decided to move to the Broadmoor. And I dug my heels in and said, "You are not going to take me away from my friends."
Mm,
And I am still going to go to Doherty High School, which was a good 30 minutes away. And so until I got my driver's license, I lived with a friend close to Doherty High School. So I kind of had a very large circle of friends because I had all the friends I grew up with, and I'm still very close to many of my friends that I grew up with are in the it's the Vista Grande area is
mm-hmm.
what we'll call it. We'll
Okay.
call it Vista Grande. And then when my parents moved when I was 15, then I developed another circle of friends that over in the Broadmoor community.
S-
So
so
very
that
different vibes. Very
gotcha.
different.
So
Yeah.
that's a good segue because I would love tell me a little bit about what are the how is Colorado Springs kind of segmented
Laid
or
out.
organized? Yeah, like what are the different sort of big landmark communities where you're like whether like you
Sure.
said Cottonwood Springs is a little small, but like it's near this or it's near that kind of thing.
Well, so, well, where Cottonwood Creek Park is a very large park in Colorado Springs, and it, it would also be considered centrally located. So you have different communities around Cottonwood Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the park, and then there's the actual creek that runs miles and miles and miles, starting from way out east all the way to downtown Colorado Springs. You can ride that trail for probably 30 miles, and many people do. But so we are, well, I'll call them subdivisions. So like I'm going to start up north. And there's Monument, and Monument is its own city.
Mm-hmm.
And it has its own mayor and it has its own rules. But when people kind of blend the two, um, and the further north that we're growing, I wouldn't be surprised if someday we do, like Colorado Springs does touch the edge of Monument.
Mm-hmm.
But from where like I live in further north in Colorado Springs, now I'm not the furthest community north. I'll get there with you on that in a second. But I'm only 18 minutes from Monument.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to work from Monument and I'm going to go south and I'll kind of target some of the bigger communities for
Gotcha.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Monument, and then when you start to enter Colorado Springs, you have the Air Force Academy, which is, we are known as Air Force City, and Olympic City because we have the Olympic Training Center here. But you have Glen Eagle. So a lot of our military families, our colonels, our generals, they might live in Glen Eagle, which is north Colorado Springs, very close to the academy
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the highway. And then a community that is probably only like 20 years old, but it's a high end community, beautiful homes. Majority of them, many of them are custom built or semi custom. Is Flying Horse.
Okay.
Flying Horse is north and then east. And Flying Horse also sits on an incredible golf course, and there's a country club there. And so, people who have not been to Colorado Springs, like say in 20 years, Flying Horse is going to be completely new to you.
Gotcha.
Yes, and it's a beautiful community. These are where $1 million+ homes are. And that area is growing dramatically. In fact, there's a highway that runs out east. It Powers Boulevard turns is Highway 21 and then it turns into 83. And Flying Horse used to stop at 83, but now it's jumped to the other side of 83 east and it's expanding more out there. And then, so you have Glen Eagle, you have Flying Horse, and then we're going to work our way south a little bit further. You have the Briargate area.
Okay.
Now, the Briargate area is really large, very, very large. And back like when I was in high school, so in the 80s, like that's where people wanted to live that weren't living down south, like in the Broadmoor.
Mm-hmm.
Briargate was known to be the area.
Okay.
And it still is a wonderful area. And it's all of that up north area that I'm discussing right now is in School District 20. And people are drawn to School District 20. And so Briargate is very big. There's not any new building going on technically in Briargate because all the land is full.
Mm-hmm.
And the one up in this same area, a little bit all north, we have like Shops at Briargate, which is our outdoor mall. So you're not inside like in an actual mall.
Sure.
It's our outdoor mall, and that's a really great place to go shop around. And there's restaurants there. And then we have what's called Chapel Hills Mall. The idea of actual indoor malls are I can only speak about Colorado Springs. They're struggling here. They're
Mm-hmm.
just
Sure.
they're having a hard time, and I think that's kind of a nationwide
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely it is. Absolutely.
And you would see that more than I would. But Chapel Hills Mall it's hanging on there. They actually took part of the mall, the west end of the mall, and they turned it into apartments.
So smart.
Yep, yep. So that was pretty neat to see.
Yeah.
So Briargate is another really great area. And then on the other side, so if you go to the city, our grid system is actually very easy. People say it's very easy to get around Colorado Springs because our streets truly run north, south, east, west.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about territories, oftentimes, like if a client calls us, they'll say, I want to be on the west side of the highway. It's got to be the west side of the highway, or I want to be on the east side of the highway. So if you have Briargate, that's on the east side of the highway. If you go to the other side, across from Briargate, the other side of the highway, that's the Rock Rimmon area, is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And so the homes are at the base of the foothills, and within Rock Rimmon, you have another area where you have very beautiful custom homes, and that area is called Peregrine. Um, a lot of our Air Force, higher up people in the Air Force might choose to live in Peregrine. And so you have Rock Rimmon and Peregrine. They sit kind of right next to each other. And like I said, that's all kind of at the base of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And there is new building going on in pockets over there. That do you were did you ever hear of the Waldo Canyon fires
No.
when they in back in 2012 there was a fire over that was started. It was man started. It was not started by lightning or anything, and it was on the west side. And what happened is some a small fire started, and then a windstorm came in and caused that fire to go down the side of the mountain on the west side, and it took out over 300 homes.
Mm,
And that whole area has obviously been rebuilt. But that is even further west from Rock Rimmon, and that's called like the Mountain Shadows area.
gotcha.
And then if I keep working south, I mean, if then you're kind of getting into the point where you are in central Colorado Springs.
Hmm.
I'm going to hit on, I mean, because there's a lot of different pockets here, but I'm trying to kind of hit on the ones that are
Yeah, yeah.
bigger
The big ones, right?
or
Sure.
you, yeah, that you might hear. So Kissing Camels is on the west side of the highway close to the mountains, and that's close to Garden of the Gods. And Garden of the Gods is it's um it's a well known, actually, I mean, in all over the world. It's a red rock formation that they're very obvious, and the reason that community I just referred to called Kissing Camels, which is also a gated community with a golf course there. There is a rock formation within Garden of the Gods, and it looks like two camels kissing.
Gotcha.
And so if you live in the Kissing Camels area, you have a view of that part of Garden of the Gods. And if you keep on, I'm staying on the west side here, then you're going to hit Old Colorado City. And if you go a little bit further west, there's a really neat look. Old Colorado City is kind of the original when Colorado Springs started. And then further west from that is a really neat little town called Manitou Springs.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of that. That's kind of it's super fun. It's lots of artists there and musicians and very eclectic foods, and that's where the Manitou Incline is. Have you ever heard of the Manitou Incline?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you should look that up.
Okay.
It's it's a hike straight up the side of a mountain in Manitou, and so many people come here just to do the Manitou Incline. It's a very difficult. You're going up railroad ties,
Oh,
and about 10 years ago, they redid all the railroad ties because they were starting to fall apart. But I would highly suggest you look at that. It's quite a challenge to do.
got
Plus,
it.
you're doing it at high altitude.
Yeah.
And another favorite area of many people is downtown Colorado Springs. And we refer to the north part of that, where many of the large, older Victorian homes are. They call that the Old North End.
Okay.
And our downtown has grown in a beautiful way. Not grown to where it's too populated. They've just really, revamped things, and we've got lots of wonderful restaurants down there. And downtown Colorado Springs is definitely a must check out,
Gotcha.
and it's beautiful.
So, and let me ask you this: if is
Mhm.
there a community that you, other than the one that you live in, is there a community
Mhm.
that you really love or you really focus on, and you're like, I think this is just like the place that when people want to move to Colorado Springs, or when they are, or when they're moving within, that you're like, this is just such a great place that I personally, Shay, like to help people discover.
Oh, God, Fraser, that's a tough one, and let me tell you why. Because it depends on their lifestyle.
Sure.
It depends on if they have kids.
Sure.
It depends on, what conveniences do they want. I will tell you just for personal reasons. So when I meet with somebody, I take all of that into consideration. I mean, because that is so hard.
Of
Like if
course,
you are,
because
yeah,
you don't want to live it. You wouldn't want to live in the heap of downtown if you're looking for, if you're raising your kids and you want to be in the suburbs, right? Right.
exactly.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So I take all of those into account. But the community that I grew up in by Doherty High School, and it's not where I live, but it's very close to where I live.
Hmm.
I'm very passionate about that area. And there's a selfish reason why I'll tell you. Yes, that's where I grew up. That's where I went to school. That's where my kids went to school,
Hmm.
and I permitted them there because prior to becoming a realtor 11 years ago, I was a teacher,
Hmm.
and I am still a teacher. And so that is the community that I taught in,
Hmm.
and over by Doherty, and it's very close to Cottonwood Creek. I'm just so it's a very family oriented community.
And
And
what's the name?
on
What is the name of that area, or does it have a
it
name?
it doesn't really have like because you've got little pockets in there. Like
Hmm.
one of the pockets that's really special is called Old Farm.
Uh-huh.
I love Old Farm, and that would be one area I would say. Sundown is another community. So they sit right next to each other.
Gotcha.
But I kind of Antelope Meadows, they all sit right next to each other.
Okay. Okay.
And
I'm gonna look at those on a map, and I'll see where those are for sure.
yeah, you can see kind of exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And um but really like if you told me it, I've got like something that I love about every community, and
Yeah.
I've got, you know, just having been a teacher for so long, and so I am still an educator, and I am still during the school year, I'm in the school still 2 days a week.
Mm.
And I'm at Doherty High School primarily, and I work with the special ed kids there.
Hmm.
So I'm I'm still very drawn to that community, if that
Sure.
makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And you're gonna like because we're gonna. I'll tell you about our school business boosters program, which is just about
Oh, very
helping.
cool.
It's perfect because it's about helping businesses connect with the schools and like kind of that. Like I said, every community needs a mayor. It's like every school, if they have more businesses involved, either parents with businesses or neighbors with businesses or just businesses in the community, it's a great source for like speakers and field trips and interns or
A
sponsors and
100%.
all that
A
stuff. And
hundred
so
percent.
yeah, and so you being kind of one foot in each world is great.